All right, so we'll be listening to our next speaker, Dr. Anza. Yes, sir. So you could respond to.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'm going to begin to open my arguments by quoting um, Barack Obama when he visited the Ghanaian parliament in 2009. In his speech to the parliament in Ghana, Obama said, and I quote, "Africa needs strong institutions and not strong men," end of quote. When we talk about underdevelopment, there are indices that are used to measure underdevelopment, and some of those indices include unemployment, insecurity, out of school children, poverty. He mentioned GDP, the gross domestic product, which is the total value of both the products and services that are produced by the population in that country. So you are 200 million people. At the end of the year, what do you produce? Just to give you a general idea of what the GDP is. Now, I believe that the underdevelopment of Nigeria is tied primarily by the structural flaws for the following reasons. I'll just give a few and then I'll give my illustrations. Let's look at the issue of economic hardship and poverty, for instance. Not too long ago, Nigeria was the poverty capital of the whole world. That meant that Nigeria had the largest number of poor people in the whole world, on the whole earth. Nigeria had the largest number of poor people in the whole world, and Nigeria just overtook India to claim that position. India has over 1 billion people compared to Nigeria's about 200 million people. So for Nigeria to be able to have more poor people than India, that gives you the idea of the extreme nature of the poverty in the country. The situation is a bit better now, or maybe I should say other countries have done poorer, so they are overtaking us. But that will give you an idea of the poverty. Now, why is there so much poverty in the country? Why is there a structural problem? It's a structural problem because Nigeria is running what is supposed to be a federal system of government. But in practice, we are practicing a unitary form of government where all the monies that comes to the country belong to the central government. The central government is so powerful, it can do and undo. It has control over natural resources. There are too many items that are on the what we call the exclusive list. In the Constitution, there's what is called the exclusive list. There's a concurrent list, and then So the exclusive list are areas where only the federal government can make legislation. The federal government has control over such areas. So there's so much. Those are the areas that give the federal government overriding power, so much power. And now, if you discover gold in your backyard, it belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. If you discover oil in your backyard or your father's plot of land, it belongs to the federal government of Nigeria. If you come from Abuja, take the oil, go and sell it wherever he wants to sell it, gather the money, and come to Abuja to share to the state governors. Even your neighbor that doesn't produce anything will come and he will get something. So it doesn't encourage productivity. Everybody wants to just be governor. All the discussion is around allocation. Oh, federal allocation has decreased. That is why I cannot pay you your salary. Oh, federal allocation has reduced. Oh, this and that. But they are supposed to be productive. So the structure of the structure that we have currently, the federal structure, in terms of the economic aspect, is not encouraging productivity. You don't have to produce anything. You can always be sustained by. Why produce? Why bother to labor to produce? When somebody is there at the end of the month, you just go with your purse and collect money and come back home and decide how to share it. So if we do if we try to go back to unitary, or try to set up a system where what we call devolution of powers and resource control, there will be no central money to share as such. Everybody will go home, every state go home and create your own wealth, generate your own wealth. The Niger Delta, the oil is your own, produce it, do what you want to do with it, but you will remit a certain percentage of it to the federal purse. The man in Zafra, if there is gold, produce it, market it, generate all the wealth you want, and then remit a percentage. How will that bring about productivity? First, man wey no dey work, you no go chop. This arrangement where monkey dey work, baboon dey chop, you put an end to it. Everybody will go home and work. That's one. Two, you will discover that it will reduce the pressure on our electoral system, which is the second point. If you don't have transparent electoral system, you can't be talking about even getting. How will the people that are the people that are not corrupt get to power, where corruption is the one that has the gate pass? They can't get in. We want to talk about the electoral system. There's so much interest in the electoral system, not because people want to pass through the system to, bring about positive change, but because they know that by just getting into power, you can become stupendously wealthy. All the way to Guru made in 1 year, in the whole lifetime, you can make in 1 month, and it will not even be official. So doing that, doing the resource control, sending everybody back home to go and work in their places, will reduce the pressure on the electoral system. Because when you say no allocation for a state like Benue or other states that don't generate much internally generated revenue, there's nothing for you to come into office and share. Everybody's coming in to work. You are going to come in and start to turn around our oranges, turn around our tomatoes, turn around all that we have, all the solid minerals, our water resources. You are going to have to generate that wealth from the scratch. By the time people look at the amount of work that they have to do to be able to have money to even talk about sharing, more than half who want easy money by just becoming honorable or becoming whatever, winning election, we back off. You have less pressure on the electoral system, and then you can start to have competent and transparent, credible elections that will throw up the people who have the leadership, who are the righteous people, or who are doing what is right to come into office. Then, before I round up, I'm timing myself. I see that my time is up. My 5 minutes are up already. You talk about another issue, another consequence of the structural defect, which is the issue of the overwhelmingly powerful federal government, is the issue of insecurity. Are you aware that a few years ago, Nigeria was the third most terrorized country in the whole world, just behind Afghanistan and Syria? We're not talking about Sudan, we're talking about Somalia. Nigeria was more terrorized than them. That's to give you just an idea of what we have been going through in terms of insecurity. Now, why is that so? You make me governor today. If I see somebody who is trying to kill my people, I can't do anything. I have to report to the hierarchy upward, and the instructions, the orders, because governors don't command security apparatus. The governor can't even license an AK-47 rifle when teenage terrorists all the way from Sahara are moving about in an neighborhood with AK-47 rifles. The person who is the governor cannot even license one. I have to write to the Office of National Security Advisor, and if there's an agenda, which there always is an agenda in this country, they refuse to give me opportunity to buy weapons. So I can't even defend my people, but I'm the governor and the so-called chief security officer of the whole state. That's wrong. That's wrong. So devolve powers, give people control of their domains, let the governors be able to set up, through the legislative process and oversight function of their state houses of assembly, set up state police. If you go to America, they are state police. Set up state police, equip people, arm them sufficiently, and deploy them within your territory so you can secure your domain. If you do that, all this, first of all, terrorists will not just come from wherever and have an easy passage all the way down to wherever to override your domain, because they know that if they come in, there's a different sheriff in town and not in charge. But now, if you can compromise the federal the president, if you can just invade and take over the structure of the presidency, they can even come to the house of the governor and he can't do anything about it. So that has to change, and that is why I believe that these structural defects, even though they may not be maybe they might not have been in existence from the beginning or whatever, are at this stage critical cause of the underdevelopment that we are facing in the country, and a hindrance to the development that we desire. Thank you.